You know when you think you've seen everything in Walford, and then the week's spoilers come along and prove you completely wrong? Next week is one of those weeks. We've got old flames reigniting, a family birthday going horribly wrong, Phil in full grump mode, and secrets bubbling up that could destroy relationships. And trust me, by Thursday, you'll be either shouting at your telly or sitting there in stunned silence. So let's go through it day by day, story by story, so you're ready for every twist between Monday 18th and Thursday 21st August. 5 big spoilers, all packed with drama. 1. Ravi and Priya's fiery reunion, and trouble brewing. Ravi playing the doting family man sounds lovely on paper. But let's be honest. When has anything with him ever stayed that simple? He starts off with the best intentions, talking about taking Priya and the kids out for a nice shopping day, but trouble seems to follow him like a shadow. The moment Oki turns up with news of a police raid, it's like a switch flips, and Ravi's straight back into survival mode, and not the sensible kind either. Moving his whole operation to Kojo's flat is just asking for trouble. Harry's reaction says it all. You can almost hear him thinking, "What on earth are you doing?" It's not just risky, it's dragging more people into the mess. And Priya's no fool. She knows exactly what's going on, and when she calls him out for letting Avani down again, you can feel the frustration bubbling over. But then, in classic soap fashion, that fiery argument takes a sudden turn, and they're swept up in that old chemistry they've never quite lost. The problem is, Ravi's promises don't hold much weight anymore. That whole, "I'm going straight" speech has been rolled out before, and each time it's been more talk than action. This time's no different. Before you know it, he's doubling down on deals, going deeper into the very world he said he'd leave behind. You can't help but wonder if even he believes his own words at this point, or if he's just saying what Priya wants to hear. And then there's Kojo, stuck right in the firing line. Ravi's choices are pulling him into situations he's not prepared for, and it's only a matter of time before something gives. If Priya finds out the full extent of what's going on, that passionate reunion could turn into one of the fiercest blow-ups we've seen from her yet. And that's saying something. This is one of those storylines where you can already feel the disaster building. 2. Kojo's birthday turns into chaos, and George is furious now. Poor Kojo. Next week is meant to be a happy one for him. It's his birthday. The Knights have drinks lined up, George is beaming, and Harry's been given the job of keeping Kojo out of the flat for the day. But George gets pulled away, and Kojo heads home early, walking straight into Oki and his dodgy mates taking over the place. It gets worse. Oki offers him a pill, says it'll calm him down. By the time George finds him, Kojo's in a right state. George takes him straight to Phil's, but then Jack turns up, and in true Jack fashion, he's by the book, says he has to arrest Kojo for taking drugs. George is livid. He's convinced Harry's somehow at the heart of all this. When George starts throwing accusations, it drags Nicola and Gina into the row. Meanwhile, Ravi's pulling strings, tells Harry to get Kojo back under control. Harry then promises Kojo he's on his side, but we've all seen enough soap to know how dangerous those "trust me" lines can be. Question is, has Harry completely crossed over to Ravi's world now? 3. Phil vs. Julie, and the case of the runaway cockerel. Phil and Julie are like oil and water at the best of times, but now she's back with Nigel, and those 3 pet chickens in tow, it's complete mayhem. The second she starts tweaking Nigel's routine, Phil's patience starts to wear thin. And honestly, who can blame him when he's being kept up at night by clucking outside the window? It's exactly the sort of domestic chaos you just know is going to bubble over into a row sooner rather than later. Nigel, poor bloke, is stuck bang in the middle. He's got Julie trying to keep things her way, Phil barking orders in his own style, and an important assessment looming over him. You can practically feel his stress levels going through the roof. Viewers will know that once Phil gets riled, it's never just a minor disagreement. It's like watching a storm roll in over Albert Square. When Phil finally snaps, it's classic Mitchell. Loud, blunt, and straight to the point. Julie's reaction is just as fiery, demanding they put all their cards on the table and sort it out once and for all. But the more they talk, the clearer it is that they're miles apart on how to handle things with Nigel. If anything, it feels like this is setting the stage for an even bigger showdown later down the line. Then, just when it looks like tensions can't get any higher, the whole tone shifts. Because Nigel's left the chicken coop open. Suddenly, everyone's running around looking for Julie's beloved cockerel. Phil, Julie, and Lexi end up on a wild goose chase. Or should we say chicken chase? Until the runaway bird turns up at Yolandi's hen do. It's the sort of ridiculous twist that only EastEnders could pull off, giving us a much-needed bit of light relief in the middle of all the drama. 4. Nicola's emotional anniversary, and George's surprising support. Nicola's week was never going to be easy, marking the anniversary of her dad's death. Those kinds of dates have a way of stirring up all sorts of emotions, and you can tell she's carrying a lot. Teddy's quick to suggest that George keeps his distance, thinking it's best to let her deal with it in her own way. But George being George, he doesn't quite take that advice. And maybe part of him knows she doesn't actually want to be left alone. What starts as a quiet chat between them soon turns into something more personal. They open up about their own complicated histories with their fathers, and it's that shared understanding that pulls them closer. Before long, the walls are down, and they're back in each other's arms again. This isn't just a bit of harmless flirting anymore. There's a weight to it, a sense that they're both finding something they need in each other. But let's be honest, the timing is a nightmare. George is already knee-deep in trouble with Kojo's arrest and Harry's increasingly dodgy behavior. The last thing he probably needs is a relationship that could blow up in his face. And Nicola's hardly in the calmest place, emotionally, right now either. You can see how this could spiral quickly if either of them starts feeling pulled in too many directions. Still, it's easy to understand the pull between them. They've both been through enough to recognize a bit of themselves in the other, and that can be hard to walk away from. The question is whether they can hold on to that connection once the chaos of Walford life inevitably crashes in. Or if this will end up as just another one of those passionate but short-lived affairs the Square is famous for. 5. Jack's watching, and Oscar's in the firing line. Finally, we've got a bit of a quiet burner of a storyline that could explode later on. Patrick and Yolanda are sorting their wedding rolls. Best man, maid of honor, celebrant, all lovely. But then, the man who attacked Patrick, Oscar, is spotted by Howie, sitting there playing dominoes with him. Howie's already been in deep with Oscar, and he's fuming. When Oscar gets invited to the stag party, Howie tells him to stay away. Here's the thing, Jack's been watching all this, and he's not convinced by the excuses. He questions Oscar, gets fobbed off, asks Howie, same story. But behind the scenes, Howie confronts Oscar privately. Whatever's going on between them, it's big enough that they both want Jack nowhere near it. Trouble is, Jack's not the sort to let things slide. If he digs deeper, this little side plot could end up pulling half the Square into a brand new mess. So there you go. 5 big spoilers for next week in Walford. We've got romance, betrayal, a runaway chicken, and enough tension to make you want to hide behind the sofa. What do you think? Is Ravi already doomed to mess things up with Priya again? Can George keep Kojo safe, or is Harry too far gone? And seriously, who had cockerel at a hen do on their EastEnders bingo card? If you enjoyed chatting through these spoilers with me, give this video a like, drop a comment with your own theories, and hit subscribe so you're always in the loop. Next week's looking messy, and I, for one, can't wait to see how it all plays out.